So coming back to the Al-Qaeda revivalist movement and things that we were taught as children in the Al-Qaeda revivalist movement, Brother Leader Bandaka taught us that culture is made up of two primary elements. You have cultural values, which relates to axiology. They said these are the essential principles of a people's culture. In other words, the things that people value the most, which are expressed through cultural mediums. And then cultural mediums, which are the ways in which culture is expressed. Yes, the cultural mediums reinforce the cultural values, and the cultural values inform or define how the culture is expressed. Yes, so examples of cultural mediums are language, names, food, garments, ceremonies, rituals, customs, and traditions, family and social structures, music, dance, arts, craft, architecture, sports, games, recreation. All right, this all creates social order among the people and is institutionalized, in what is referred to as a communal value system. So based upon the cultural values and the cultural mediums, people develop institutions in a society within their culture, that reinforce who they are and are able to serve their own needs. This creates social order. As Baba John Henry Clark says, a people rise and fall within the context of institutions. Okay? All right. To just explain this further, we're going to pray on the wisdom of Mama Frances Quest Wilson, who defines for us 9 areas of people activity, which are education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. So what I'm emphasizing there in terms of how this is structured is that culture informs all of these areas of people activity. Culture is the central area of people activity that informs all of these other areas of people activity. And these other areas of people activity are structured into institutions that serve the needs of the people. Okay, so you have economic institutions, entertainment institutions, labor institutions, institutions of law, politics, and so on and so forth. And in turn, this is a synergistic relationship once again, because these institutions and areas of people activity reinforce the values of the culture, strengthen the culture, reproduce the culture, and importantly, evolve the culture. In other words, the people will evolve the culture through these areas of people activity in order to adjust itself and adapt to meet new challenges, evolve to a new environment, develop new things, create new things, respond to new ideas, so on and so forth. Okay? All right. Now, we have been given, as I said before, a reductive idea of what culture is and the role that culture plays in a society. This is principally because our idea of culture has been Europeanized through the idea of anthropology. Okay, so we're going to move back to which is the study of culture. Anthropology in European culture is the study of cultures. Yes, all right. But Mama Marimba Annie, in the book Yorugo, gives us a critique of even the concept of anthropology as a discipline. She says, anthropologists, through their use and abuse of the culture concept, have generally ignored the political implications of culture by de-emphasizing its ideological function through this conventional use of the culture concept. Through this conventional use of the culture concept, these societies have been theoretically and superficially abstracted from political contexts in which they exist. Yeah? So what she's saying is that we have taken the politics out of culture, yes, generally speaking, and reduced it, to something else. Okay? We don't understand, therefore, implicitly that culture is political and politics is cultural. Why is this? Why is this? Is the question I'm asking now. I'm going to suggest this is the reason why. We have a tendency, as far as it relates to African culture in particular, to remove the cultural values and therefore the social order, the institutions of culture. Yes? Emphasize the cultural mediums and in fact, reduce African culture to exclusively the cultural mediums now. Yeah? So African culture becomes about the languages of Africa, the names, the food, the garments, the ceremonies, the rituals, and so on and so forth. This is what defines African culture. Culture, therefore, African culture, does not now begin to inform politics. It doesn't begin to inform economics. There is no philosophical contributions that Africa has made to the world that informs areas of people activity that can define institution building. African culture begins to be reduced to song, dance, and entertainment, hospitality, tourism. You can come to Africa and eat some African food. Yeah, you can learn how to greet people in an African language. But doesn't affect how Africans organize government, organize economic systems, organize systems of social interrelation. No longer. That's what happens. Yes? And even in the Black conscious or Pan-African community, we tend to do this. And the example that I gave at the conference in Birmingham was the fact that I've been to many occasions, yeah, and you know, a man will come and deliver a brilliant message on the aspects of African history, or a brilliant speech affirming some political ideology, philosophy for us to organize around. And then whoever's chairing the session will say, now we're going to have a cultural contribution. And the cultural contribution is a performance. Yeah? So what's happening is that we are depoliticizing our culture and therefore creating a vacuum to be filled by another people. When we talk about European culture, we don't just speak about French, English, and Spanish. We don't just speak about pie and mash and croissants. Yeah, we don't just think about church and mass and communion. Yeah, we don't just think about suit and tie. European culture comes with concepts like democracy. Yes, it comes with concepts and institutions like Parliament and Congress. It comes with concepts like capitalism, yeah, which is an economic system. It comes with concepts like socialism and communism. These are all expressions of European culture. And in a sense, what we have been taught to do is look at European culture as universal. I hope you believe me, like you believe in the universalism of whiteness. So therefore, what Europe gives to the world, or says it gives to the world, or the expression that is specific to Europe, becomes universal to all people. Yes? So this is why we can have African languages, but have European governments. We can eat African food, but have European economic systems. Because the European economic system is universalized and imposed on the oppressed as though it is a fact of life rather than particular to European people. And I'm saying that we do that even in our liberation community, our Pan-African community. Yeah. So much of, there's a certain section now of the Pan-African liberation movement, the Black liberation movement, that has been labeled cultural nationalist. And this term has become a derisive term. Yes, because the Black liberation movement has been told with the bias against what is called the left, socialism and so on and so forth, communism and that kind of thing. And therefore, what is cultural nationalist, yeah, has, so like, for example, because there was a disagreement between the US organization and the Black Panther Party, the history is told to the bias of the Black Panther Party. Without question. Like, people don't even question why it is, yeah? So because the Black Panther Party disagreed with the US organization must have been dealing with foolishness, yeah? We don't tend to examine what that debate was about more in depth, yeah, to see exactly what was being said, okay? And so this idea of cultural nationalism has been derided and condemned without even an understanding of what it is. And all it's really saying is that we use our own culture, we delve into our own history and culture to inform how we're going to develop ourselves right about now and how we develop our liberation fight. That's all it means, okay? We could go into that more in depth on another occasion. But for now,